Good morning, Washington, Baltimore, Glen Burnie, Fairfax, Dundalk, and Oxon Hill. How you doing? How you doing, everybody? It's Dave TV for the 3rd of November, 2012. I actually have something major to announce today. I actually agree with Betsy Rothstein over there at Fish Tank, the skank from Fish Tank. Washington Post today, the wonderful rewrite gals at the Reliable Source. They get a little piece up here. Remember, this is Wednesday, if you can see that. Wednesday, they get a piece about Thomas Roberts, a Baltimore area native, marrying his longtime partner, Patrick Abner, in Manhattan on Saturday. Hey, this happened on Saturday. Saturday. This is Wednesday. Wednesday. That's 5 days later. You know, I mean, there's a certain, one of the things about a newspaper, it's supposed to be timely, okay? It's supposed to be stuff that's recently happened. And I don't know, 5 days later, come on. And Betsy did a little write-up on that, and I agree with her on that. And the Post, a lot of their, especially that Reliable Source column, they often get stuff that just kind of sits there. I guess they figure, well, we'll just have it sit there until we have room to, you know, we have some empty space. This is my black tea. I like black tea in the morning. Sometimes I get green tea. Green tea kind of gives me a kind of a loopy spin to my head. But the black tea is good. And I always like the generic. I like the Giant or the Safeway version of the black tea. If I get the Lipton, I don't know, it has more of a bitter taste. You ever notice that? Well, yesterday we did the radio ratings. And we're still seeing that WNEW is just getting no traction. Now, that's the new CBS All Newsroom that was started back in January. And, you know, it was like, what? You know, even in the Baltimore market, here's the crazy thing. Even in the Baltimore market, WNEW signal is better into the Baltimore market than WTOP's is because WNEW signals in Anne Arundel County, which is in the Baltimore market, whereas WTOP is in Northwest D.C. And yet, WTOP, oh, this thing's driving me crazy today. I don't want to wear it. Take that off. Thank you. WTOP is 16th in the latest Baltimore radio rating. 16th. And WNEW was 31st. You know, now here's a station that's in D.C. that's 16th. It's in the top 20 in the Baltimore. It's actually one of, I think it is the top-rated D.C. radio station in Baltimore. And WNEW, which is technically in the Baltimore market, is 31st. Something's wrong there. If that's just a litmus test, you know, I don't know. I talked to so many people, and we're still trying to figure out what the hell's going on with WNEW. When you tune it in, it is the bad station. Okay, I honestly, it isn't. TOP has a certain cred. You know, it has a personality, and you like it. There's a really good documentary. Talkers Magazine, go to whatever their website is, Google that, and then you go down to last summer, and they have a really nice video on their website where they visited WTOP, their glass enclosed nerve center. Beautiful, beautiful building, beautiful structure, beautiful studio, just absolutely gorgeous. But, you know, the people there are wearing, like, you know, they're not in suits and ties and everything. They're kind of casually dressed, and it's a laid back, casual type atmosphere. It looks like a fun place to work. And you can tell that by the output on the station. It's casual. It sounds friendly. You know, it's an all newser that has a nice personality to it. It's friendly. It's accessible. It's, you know, you like the people that are giving you the news. They're friendly. They're nice. You know, you listen to all newsers in other cities, and it's just staccato kind of da 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 da. Here's the news. Da da da. TOP isn't like that. It's kind of like their own little thing, and it really works well. And it's something that I think would be really, really hard to duplicate, you know, and I think that's one of the problems that WNEW is having, not only with their signal, but with the fact that, you know, they're just going up such a wonderfully loved station in the market. And the other thing is, you know, unlike a lot of other all-newsers that have this constant repetition to them, WTOP, you can listen for a longer period of time because it has a conversational flow. Yeah, you get the traffic and weather on the 8s, but there's a nice conversational flow to it. So it it allows you to listen longer, because they do have a nice flow, and it's not so much repetition. There is repetition in terms of the headlines and in terms of the news and weather, the traffic and weather, like an all newser should have. But there also is a conversational flow to it that I think abides longer listening. So I'm thinking, what does CBS do? Now, I've gone through these before, and I'm going to go through them again real quick, okay? I'm going to remind CBS because I really think they need to do something. And the first thing they need to do with WNEW, again, is that new frequency. 99.1 ain't going to cut it. They need to move to a DC frequency, 95.5 or 94.7, an inside the Beltway signal, okay? They need to do that. And the most likely is 94.7 because Fresh is okay. It's doing all right. It's not doing great. Bump it over to 99.1 or do something new with 99.1, but they really need to be on 94.7. As again, I mentioned 95.5. If they move PGC to 99.1, that would get better into Baltimore and kind of make it a dual market station. That could work. But I think probably the most better one is to do 94.7. If CBS is serious about this station, they're going to have to do that. I'm telling you, not on the HD2, on the main signal. And again, the website is still same crappy CBS template website. They need to break that mold. CBS needs to break the mold in this case, and they ought to develop their own WNEW website. They hired that, what's his name, Gartland over from TOP over the summer, and they still haven't done a damn thing. So I don't know. They need to get that website up and running and really, really good looking and make it at least as good as TOP's site, which is going to take a lot of work. But at least get it newsy. So they're, I don't know, man. And what I said before, hybrid news talk, okay? Maybe they need to take a direction and instead of just a standard news talker, make it a little more, a standard all newser, make it a little more of a newsy talker station. And as I said, have kind of a morning host and an afternoon host who oversees like the whole block, like a Chris Core type person, somebody like that who would say oversee the whole morning drive, and then he would interface with all the different anchors, news anchors. So you'd have a news anchor, say from 7 to 7:30, and then Chris would come in and interface with them, like almost like a co-host in a way, and he'd have little talk segments within that half hour, and then the next host would come in from the next anchor from 7:30 to 8, like CBS does their rotating anchors, and then he would interface with that, and then he would interface with all the different main news anchors in every half-hour block for a 3-hour period, and introduce other contents like long-form-ish type interviews into the news wheel. And then they would do the same thing for the afternoon drive. And they'd only do that during drive times, but they would build some kind of a personality kind of attraction to their things. They need to do something like that. Break it out of the box, because what they're doing ain't working. And they need to get somebody like Chris Core or somebody who would bring some entertainment value to the station. Even if Tommy McFly, for Christ's sake. And then they need desperately to do this. Promo and get more involved in social media. And I've said it before, they don't even need to spend a lot of money on that, just a whole lot of YouTube content. A lot of YouTube content with stuff with their anchors in it and with their personalities in it, and get it up there and get just slew the market with videos and stuff with, and really selling the personalities of their anchors. Sell those anchors, make you love them, and get them out there in public, and even do, have their anchors, I don't know, hosting different events and stuff, but get them out in the public and, start building. I want to tune into WNEW because I really like that Bill Rakoff. Oh, wait, he's gone. That kind of thing. So they need to do something, man. I don't know. Well, Brian Neiman's still over there at WNAL. I don't know what they're doing, man. I don't know. Brian comes on today and says something like, well, I got this new video about the president. Well, it's an old video about when President Obama was a senator 5 years ago. I think he's just, the longer he stays at WMAL, it's like old, it's like old fish. They start to smell. Relatives are like fish. They start to stink after a few days when they come to visit. He should have just bolted. The minute he signed with BAL, I'm out the door. Goodbye. Get away from this disaster area of a station. MAL 18th. You know, here's the thing: 18th in the latest 25-54 money demos. They did a little better in the 12 pluses. The problem with MAL is they skew old. Okay, so a lot of their audience is over 54. So that over 54 audience shows up in the 6+ numbers. Okay, because that's pretty much everybody, and so that's what gives them that ratings weight of, you know, of 14th place or whatever they are. When you cut off the listeners at 54 and you say the 25-54, you're cutting off a good chunk of WMAL's over 54 audience, and so they don't do as well in the 25-54s because they got a lot of old folks listening. You know, they're listening for all those pitches that Brian Wilson is doing about sleep apnea and ED and a plethora of geriological ailments. All right, folks. So is that the big news today? I think that's about it. That's all I have to say. All right, folks. Thanks for watching Dave TV, DCRTV.com. Even though it's over, we celebrated our 15th anniversary in September. If you still want to make a $15 donation, I'll still give you a year of DCRTV Plus. So don't forget about that. Okay, the next couple of days, give me a check, PayPal at $15 1 year, $30 2 years, $45 3 years, whatever. And we'll still do that for you if you get your donation in this week, okay? Even though it's technically over, but what the hell? All right, thanks for watching Dave TV. Adios, and book 'em, Dano.